Yo, what's going on, snipers, and welcome back to our Vancouver Rain Draft to Glory franchise mode here in MLB The Show 23. So in last episode, once again, we had pretty much the exact same outcome as the last two seasons before this, where we lost in the ALCS. This time around, it was in 6 games to the Boston Red Sox, which kind of sucks because our team was technically the best team in baseball, but we lost to the second best team because they actually had some good pitching at times while we didn't. And it was kind of a heartbreaking series in the sense that we won game one, then we lost this game two, but the games that we should not have lost, I think, were, if I remember right, this game. Let me just make sure I'm actually saying the right game here. Yeah, this game we kind of blew late because you could see we were very close to closing out the game in the 9th inning. Unfortunately, they kept it going to extra innings, and then they got 2 runs across and won the game. If we would have won that game, we would have had a tied series at that point and didn't take in a 3-2 series lead. And then we were at the 22nd, and this game was obviously a must-win the game to force a Game 7. And this one, we blew a big lead. And I kind of felt like it was going to happen because of the fact that this game almost seems scripted after you score a lot in the third. As you can see, we scored 5 runs in the third, and we were up like 7-1 in the 7th inning. In the last 2 innings, the 8th and the 9th, they scored a combined 7 runs to take an 8-7 lead. There was like a grand slam in there. And yeah, they end up winning the game because of that. So I'm kind of a little bit pissed off at this game's logic because for some reason I think it always happens where if you score a lot of runs early on, you almost always blow that lead. Like it's happened to me a lot of times in this series. I don't know if you guys have had the same type of thing, but it is very frustrating. It's kind of almost like NHL in a sense, because in NHL, like if you score a couple goals early on, sometimes you blow those leads as well. So I don't know if both game companies kind of have that logic kind of scripted into their game or what, but I can kind of see right through it in a sense, which is kind of frustrating when you know it's going to happen. But anyways, before we get into a very important offseason, I do have a couple comments to go over. So the first one is from Rebecca Weiss Woods, which says, wish you could trade Lake for Tolvar. I wish I could trade too, but since this is a draft to glory, obviously I can't. But yeah, Tolvar is a very good reliever for the Red Sox. He does much better than Dennis Lake does. As you can see, in 4 innings, he's got very good statistics. Well, Dennis Lake for us has not been that type of guy as the closer. We've brought him in a couple times, and you can see through 4 innings, he has a 4.5 ERA. This guy just can't find a way to do stuff in the playoffs after a great regular season, which is very frustrating. But the good thing for us is he's only signed here for a few more years, and then maybe if Guzman is okay with it, he could take over the reins as the closer. He's already signed for those 3 years as well, so hopefully we could kind of hold on to one of them. And I'd say I would probably lean towards Guzman, since Guzman puts up better statistics usually. And the last comment is from Nick Bucker Barons OC, who says that was some bullshit. And yes, it literally was. Like, you could literally sense it in the game when we were about to blow that lead, which was really frustrating. But anyways, those were the comments I got in the last episode. So let's get into a very important offseason, because we have some pretty big contracts to dish out this year. There is some big guys that need contracts like this season, because some of them are going to be free agents next year. So those being Bobby Hyde most notably, and Bill Pineda. Those guys are going to need, I'd say, a big upgrade of a contract, and hopefully we could get them for multiple years. But the good thing for us, though, if we do also have a couple guys that are still having ARB for a few years. So Sparbory likely will get just qualified. Same with Groves and Brian Morris. And then there's probably a lot of guys I'm going to end up having to let go of this offseason. I was thinking we're definitely letting go of Ollie Gelman this year, because he's going to probably cost us way too much. Considering Bobby Hyde needs some money, I think Ollie Gelman would cost us a lot to bring back. I'm also thinking of letting go of Ken Robert, because we just have way too much pitchers, and we already have technically our setup guy in Guzman. Robert hasn't really been able to get much of time anyways, so I think he's likely going to be gone. There is a chance Jeff Pipp is going to be gone, because we could use Michael Chu as a third baseman. And then I'm also probably getting rid of Pedro Carrillo and Johannes Berg, if Johannes Berg's up for renewal, which I don't. Yeah, he is up for renewal. I might let go of him as well, because those guys were Rule 5 pickups, but I don't know if we necessarily need them anymore. We might hold on to Berg just in case. But yeah, Rubel and Birch are also 2 guys that are up for renewal that are very interesting. I don't know if I could bring them back, afford them. We'll see. But those guys are very important relievers to our team, so it'd be nice to be able to bring them back on a similar price point. But if they're demanding like $6-7 million, there's not really a chance I could give them that. And then yes, since Pip was making $9 million this last season and Gelman was making 13.9, I think there's a good chance we lose one or both of them this offseason because of the fact we got to give Bobby Hyde and Pineda some money. So we'll see what ends up happening this offseason, and hopefully we could maintain this team. Like, this is, like I said, a crucial offseason to maintain our roster as much as possible, but also letting go of the guys that we don't necessarily need, because Ollie Gelman's technically one of these guys we don't actually need, because we already have, like, Josh Groves at center field. We have also Pineda at center field, so basically the two of those guys will be taking over Gelman's spot, which I think I'm okay with, so... Anyways, let's get into this offseason because it's going to be a little bit of a longer episode, I guess, because we're going to have to hardcore focus on the contract scenario. And yeah, we're going to see, I guess, who ends up winning the World Series, which I'm almost guaranteeing it's going to be Boston because the Mets didn't really look that good on paper. So if we would have gotten to the World Series, I think we could have won the World Series, but unfortunately we lost yet again. So... let's simulate to the offseason and see who ends the World Series. And yes, it is. The Boston Red Sox have beaten the New York Mets in 7 games. Wow, that's a lot more games than I expected. So apparently the Mets were a much better team than us because we couldn't get to a Game 7 with Boston, but they were able to. So let's take a look at those awards for the playoffs. So Mackenzie Little ends up being the World Series MVP with a 4 RBI game, I guess. And the MVP in the postseason in both the AL and NL was once again Mackenzie Little and Carson Williams. Okay. I don't know. Would we have beaten the Mets? I feel like we should have been able to if we would have got there, but honestly, we would never know. Hopefully this upcoming season we could kind of change the direction a bit of this team, because losing in the ALCS for 3 straight years, when it's good to get that far, it's also very frustrating not getting to at least one World Series out of the bunch of those, right? So let's see what coaches we have to re-sign. So our manager, our first baseman, I think our first base coach, I think that's what it said. Any interesting retired players? Probably none. Oh, there is one former player. Yeah, Lindsey Raymond retired. So shout out to Lindsey Raymond retiring due to his ability. That's kind of interesting. I was not expecting that, but the Lindsey Raymond Award at least still goes to the worst player in terms of statistics. So I didn't do any of Nick's adjustments yet for potentials and all that stuff. So Nick, if you could give me a giant list again for next episode, I'll do that before the start of the season. But yeah, funny seeing Lindsey Raymond there. Wow, I didn't realize there was going to be some generated guys going already. Probably none of these other guys played for us, but crazy to see Raymond go. So there we go. And Mookie Betts has made the Hall of Fame in 2035? Damn. Okay, so this is the big stage. The exclusive free agent signings. These are the guys that could just head the free agency without like anything. So Birch is probably one of the biggest ones. Wait, why isn't Rubel there? Why isn't Rubel there? I thought he was a free agent. Oh, he's got 1 year of ARB. That's nice, actually. I didn't even realize that for Rubel. Okay, so Rubel will easily be able to come back. Birch is the one I'm worried about. Carrillo I'm okay with losing, I think, as well, because we do have like Shartner in the system, and yeah, Carrillo wasn't getting much time. So yeah, I'm not going to even offer Pedro Carrillo a contract. We have $68 million in budget, which is huge. Hopefully that's enough to sign all the guys we want. What is Jack Birch wanting? 3.8 a season for 5 years. That's a bit steep for 5 years. I don't really want to give him a 5-year deal. I'm okay with giving him like a 3-year deal. I just don't want to give him too long term and then he drops off a lot. I feel like I should almost just give Birch a 1-year deal, but it's a bit of a risk. 1 year at 4.5. You know, that might actually be what I'm willing to do. 1 year at like 4.6 or 4.4. I know you guys say I should probably go to around 80% of what they're actually asking for, but I just don't want to risk losing somebody like Birch. Let's see if Birch will accept 1 year at 4.4. I'm willing to do that because he's a really good reliever at times. So, but these two, I feel like both of them are going to be gone. Likely Gelman's definitely gone. Yeah, I can't give you $18 million there, Ollie. I really love you, man, but I can't bring you back. I love your speed in the playoffs. It's easy to steal bases with you, but I honestly can't give you $18 million when we have all the other guys up for renewal, because I bet you Bobby Hyde's going to cost us an arm and a leg. And then we have like still Sparbory, Groves, Pineda. Like, technically we could bring him back, but honestly it's not really worth it when we already have like our other two center fielders below him. They need more playing time basically. So yeah, I'm not going to give a contract to Ollie. He was one of the first picks, I think, of this series. I can't remember what year, but he's had some okay years. Not the best player I've ever drafted for sure, but he has had some solid years over the last few years. You can see he's over 10 home runs a season. His average has been around like a 270. And then, of course, he's always usually one of those guys that steal bases and all that. But, yeah, he's going to head to free agency because I cannot afford to give him that much money. When we have $68 million in cap space, our budget, I should say, there's no way I could afford to give him 18. So, he is likely gone for sure. We also do need to see about Pip. Is Pip going to try and ask for more than $9 million a season? If we go 1 year, he wants 9.6, which last year, how much did he make? I can't even tell. I think it was 9 million I said earlier. This one's a big call because the fact that we don't really have any other third baseman other than Chu who would take third base from him. This would be a big call. I liked Pip's stats off the bench, but he is 28. I can't really guarantee him a long-term contract. I could give him a 1 year deal, but I'd have to pay him over $10 million. Yeah, to get him to like 80% interest or so, it's $11 million. I think I'm letting him go with both these two. And some of you guys are going to probably complain about it. I know it because some of you guys are like, oh, you should always try and bring back these guys. But honestly, when we have guys in the system pushing for those spots, I'd rather take a little tiny bit of regression in the standings and kind of rework our team in a sense. And I don't want to be stuck down cap-wise because of these two guys. So, Gelman and Pip are gone. Maybe we offer Pip another contract in for the free agency pool. I doubt it. But, yeah, he's definitely gone, I think. And, yeah, Carrillo's definitely gone, too. So, I think the only one I'm going to offer is Jack Birch. I honestly think we need that money because we do have, like, a lot of younger guys that are going to eventually need more money. We have guys tied up for big periods of money, too. So I don't really think it's necessary for us to do that again. So yeah, the only contract we're giving here is Jack Birch. So Pip, Gelman, etc. Good luck. And thank you for your time here. Honestly, Gelman was probably the best of the two. I did like Pip at times, but Pip really never blossomed into that guy we were hoping he'd be. So we definitely need to be looking for third baseman in these future drafts too, because honestly, I don't know if Chu's really going to be that great of a third baseman. But he's probably ready to take that step anyways. And then, yeah, we have some third base prospects, but we definitely need one that's going to be like a guaranteed good player, almost in a sense. So there's that. We do need to bring in a manager, first base, and a third base coach. So these are very important as well for our team to obviously find ourselves some good coaches and stuff. So let's see if we could get these guys in. This actually acquires to our budget as well, right? Yeah, I think so. Yeah, it does. Let me see if I can find somebody on maybe a decent contract. There's somebody that's asking for less. Let's go 14. Actually, I might be able to get them for cheaper. And we'll see if Felipe Chassin accepts. We do need first base and third base. Let's see if we got anybody here with not a lot of minuses, like you, Tony Beasley. There you go, and we need a third base. Yeah, let's go down here. Let's go with you. Wow, this guy's old, though. He's probably going to retire soon, so never mind. I don't want somebody that's just going to retire within a season, necessarily. There we go. Hopefully we get all those guys in, and yeah, best of luck to Ollie, Jeff, and to Pedro in free agency. And then we're going to get into our arbitration contracts, which I'm probably banking on Bobby Hyde wanting at least $7 million, my guess. Bill Pineda probably is going to be expensive too, but those two guys both being pending free agents next offseason, that's why I need that cap space. So hopefully you guys could kind of understand why I'm doing what I'm doing. Okay, so did we get the accepts of Jack Birch? Likely we did, right? Yeah, Birch is accepted, so Birch is back for another year, which is huge. I could have honestly done a multi-year deal, but with the amount of pitchers we have in our system, I didn't really want to do that. And yeah, this is where it's going to get expensive. The guys that are up for arbitration, Ken Roberts also are up for arbitration for another year, but I honestly don't know if I'm going to bring him back. I honestly could, but not too sure on that yet. Yeah, we got a lot of work to do. So let's go to the salary arbitration first. What is Bobby Hyde wanting? Yeah, that's what I was expecting. Once you go after 1 to 2 years, he's asking for 15 plus a season. 4 years at 39.2 is an AAV of what? 9.8 a year. That's much better, actually. I think I'm wanting to do something like that. Yeah, we might be able to get him for this. Let's just make sure it's good. Yeah, 9.8 a season I think is good. I'm willing to do that for Bobby because I think he was really good as a reliever, obviously almost winning the Cy Young. We could use him as a starter at some point too. It's a lot of money to give out right now, but he's probably the best guy to bring back. So let's give Bobby Hyde that contract. Sparbori, I think since he's got 2 years of ARB, I'm going to offer him arbitration. Ken Roberts, I'm not sure on yet. Bill Pineda, I need to give you a multiple year contract, probably. Oh, over 3 years, he wants 8. I might have to just give him a 2-year deal. Yeah, I might have to just give him a 2-year deal. Maybe we, yeah, 4.6 a season's pretty solid. What is he wanting for 3? Yeah, I guess I'll do the 2-year deal only for Pineda. He's only 23, but we'll likely be able to have more cap space then to give him another couple years at that point. So yeah, 2 years at 9. Let's see if he'll accept that. Brian Morris, I'll offer arbitration for you because you should be relatively cheap to bring back regardless. And Doug Rubel, wanting 1 year at 2.9. That's actually not too bad. He's actually relatively cheap and he's somewhat good at times. He's a decent reliever, only 29 years old, but I don't really know. I think I'm going to offer arbitration on him too. So basically that would mean that Pineda is eligible. We already got him a contract. So it'd be just basically Ken Robert that we'd be letting go of. But what is he wanting? Not really a whole lot. Not really a whole lot. He'd be in our bullpen. $5 million though. I don't really know if I'd have the cap space. I'm going to advance a few days probably and see if I could get those guys. But we do got guys to add to our 40-man roster. Those being Cora and Cologne. Cora especially, actually. Cologne, I think I'm okay with leaving off of it because he's not developing that well, I guess. I don't know. Let's add Cora to our 40-man. There you go. Torres has potential, but I don't know if he's going to reach that potential, to be honest, at this rate. We have 35 people. We could probably add Cologne to our 40-man, even though he's not really the best yet. Some of these guys eventually will have to get removed from our 40-man. But, Cologne's not the best, to be honest. I think I'm just going to leave him off of our 40-man. He doesn't really need to be here. Hernandez in the right field could potentially get added. I don't know if he's one of those guys that would get taken or not. He's not the best in terms of hitting and whatnot, so you know what? I'm not going to keep him on there either. It's just pointless to add those guys. So that's good. We also need to check the tender contracts here. Josh Groves. Yeah. I could see why we needed some money here. What if I go 3 years for Josh Groves? I think this is a good contract for somebody like Josh Groves, who's only just starting to get into our lineup a bit. It's not relatively too expensive. 6.8 for 3. That works for me. And then we got the rest of these guys, which at least we have, we should be able to get most of them for cheap. Oh, Tim Soto is trying to get multiple long-term deal. I think we still have a little bit of leeway with his contract. Yeah, we have a long leeway with his contract, so I'm just going to give him a 1-year deal. A 1-year deal. Wow, he still has full interest. Wow, he starts losing interest at $200,000. I don't want to underpay the man, no. We'll give him $500,000. Let's try and get all these guys signed a little bit. Let's try and save some money a little bit. 640K. I'm excited to see what our team's looking like next season, but at the same time, I'm a little bit worried. Just because losing Gelman and stuff is going to maybe be detrimental to this team, but maybe it's not. Oh, wow. Chu wants a long-term contract. I mean, that might be worth banking on, but he wasn't really the best in the regular season. I'll do a 2-year deal for him, if possible, since he is technically our new third baseman. But yeah, at least we have like good prospects in our system, because that helps a long way in terms of like actually keeping a good team. But if this continues to happen every year, where we're continuing to lose big players like Gelman and Pip, this team might fall off randomly, and we might go back into a rebuild. So we got to win a World Series soon, or else it is not looking too good. So hopefully we can win a World Series at some point. Oh, Berg wants multiple years as well. I could bring him back, I guess, just to give us more depth at first base in case. Yeah, why not give him like $700,000? But yeah, with like guys like Shartner and Springer in the system, at least there is something to be happy about with the prospect pool. I hope we have enough money to sign all these guys. I really do. If we don't, that's going to be a bit problematic. I might have to eventually cut some of our prospects that we've drafted, because of the fact we have probably too much guys. We have like just so many starting pitchers. I might have to start actually changing them over to relief pitchers, because I'm not gonna know. And we're gonna have like no relief pitchers whatsoever at some point, which will look kind of funny. But yeah, hopefully this offseason we can get this done pretty quick, and then hopefully, I think I'm gonna let go of Alfredo Segura. Yeah, I think he's gone. This guy was a bust. I mean, I could keep him as just a guy to give us third base depth, but he's not worth bringing back. Sorry if you can hear a lawnmower in the background. Really annoying when they decide to go by while I'm recording. Like, that's the only problem of living in this type of condominium. Let's see. Let's get these all signed up here. We should have enough money to get these guys all in. I feel like I also have a log jam of catchers, so at some point we'll probably have to let go of some of those catchers. But yeah, if I feel like for this series, I want to run it until we win a World Series technically, but at the same time, I think if we don't win a World Series before Sixto, Cardenas, and Garth Howe retire, I don't know if the series will end by then or not. Because I kind of want to obviously get into more of my NHL 24 stuff when that comes out. But I will be obviously doing MLB The Show 24 when that gets on Game Pass, probably in the springtime. So, but I do like this series a lot. I just don't really know if we are going to be able to win a World Series or not at this point. But we're definitely on the cusp of coming close, I think. So hopefully we can get that done at least before the series ends. But I know a lot of you guys watch this series only because you're MLB watchers. You're not NHL watchers, really. So, okay, so 35 million in pending offers. We still should have budget for those guys that are offered contracts. I think we're good to advance a few days and see if Bobby Hyde accepts his contract, same with Bill Pineda. So let's advance a couple days. We got that Chassin guy. That's nice. Let's see if we got any interest stuff on is changing. So arbitration on those guys. Ken Robert, I don't know if I bring him back. I do like his play, but he's not really getting much time to play. That's the thing. He deserves to go somewhere else probably and almost do something. But with us having arbitration, we could just offer him arbitration and then have him for the year. And then he could go to free agency next year. Does he have minor league options still? He has all 3 of his options. Yeah, you know what? We're going to just give him a 1-year contract, I think. Actually, we're going to just offer arbitration to him. Because worst comes to worst, we option him down to AAA if we have too much pitchers. Let's advance another day, see if we got... Oh, there we go. We got an acceptance from Bobby Hyde. So Bobby Hyde has accepted, and he will return to the team, which is awesome. And we should be getting Pineda soon then too, which hopefully he accepts shortly. He hasn't accepted yet. We'll go another day. Okay, any signing? Yes, he does accept. Woohoo, let's go. That is a huge signings for us. So, Bobby Hyde, who's technically our second best overall pitcher. We could use him as a starter this coming season if you guys want me to. But his home runs and 9 is a little bit risky. So yeah, Bobby Hyde has accepted a 4-year deal at 9.8. I think that's a great contract for him, because obviously it's not like we're paying him like how much Garth Howe is. Garth Howe is getting lower and lower every year, which is awesome to see still because he's such a great pitcher. So there is that. And then also in terms of center fields, Bill Pineda coming off a pretty damn good year, getting 2 years at 4.5. Not a very long contract, but I am banking on the fact that he's going to start being good, and then we'll probably give him more years after that because we should have more cap space by that time. Okay, so that's all good. Those guys are all arbitrated, offered. Josh Groves is the only one that hasn't accepted here, but he should accept shortly. We have $34 million in budget, and it's just basically these guys and Josh Groves. Technically, we could have brought back players like Pip and all that, but at the same time, it's not really worth it. So let's go to free agency 2. Obviously, at the start of next season, we'll take a look at where Gelman and all that accepts their contracts and where they sign. Let's see, do they have interest from anybody yet? Let's see. We are looking for center fielders. Ollie Gelman has no offers at the moment, but he will obviously get some. So Ollie's in there. And then Jeff Pip has interest from the Washington Nationals. Not really a whole lot of interest, but they're offering him a 4-year deal at 33.6. Huh, okay. Let's continue getting through this offseason, though, because obviously we want to just get to the start of next season and see what we're looking like lineup-wise. No. Yep, Segura's headed to free agency. Robert and Sparbori and Morris and Rubel are all qualified. Yeah, that's good. That is good. Actually, wanted to check if Josh Groves got his contract. Yep, 3 years at 2.3 for Josh Groves, and then he has 1 year of ARB, and then he's a free agent. I like that. It's a good test for him to play for 3 years at that cost, and then see if he's good. If he's not good after those 3 years, we just let him go, or we could arbitrate him. So I like that contract a lot. He is also getting a little bit older too, so that's not really a bad contract. But you can see we're definitely a little bit weak on third base, but likely that is we're going to be playing Michael Chu, so instead of his first base role. Okay, let's take a look at where those players signed, if they accepted those contracts yet. Did Gelman sign anywhere? Did Pip sign anywhere? Pip has signed somewhere, probably in Washington. And Ollie Gelman has interest from 3 teams: the Angels, the Miami Marlins, and the Cincinnati Reds. It's looking like he's going to be going to the Angels, which is in our division, if I remember right. So that's a little bit of a downfall about letting go of him. But at the same time, we can't really afford to just give him that much. Like, if we gave him the 18 he was asking for, we'd be like down to half on our budget, and we'd still have all these 4 guys to sign. So basically we're getting in quantity for quality in a sense. I mean, these guys are all quality players too, but you get what I mean, right? Okay, let's continue simulating, see if oh, there it is. Yep, Ollie Gellman has accepted a 5-year deal for 17.2 a season with the Angels. That's a bit of an overpay, I feel like, for 14 home runs, 60 RBIs. The average is nice, the stealing's nice, but that's a massive contract there for Ollie Gellman. Okay, guys, so of course my Elgato froze at this point in the episode, well, in the off season, but we're up here at the start of the season. I'll show you guys what we're working with roster-wise, who's up for renewal this upcoming off season, as well as the top prospects in baseball. Also, we'll show you guys where Jeff Pipp signed, because I think the last thing you saw was where Ollie Gellman signed. So let's get into all of that. So our current roster, at least for spring training, is looking like the following. Actually, let me not go through that screen. Let me just go through our roster on this screen instead. You can see we have an abundance of pitchers. Some of them will be used as relievers, some as starters. Johnny Almont's not even on our 40-man roster at the moment. We could still add him. But we have a log jam of pitchers. And I need your guys' opinion on who should be sent back down to AAA for another year, who should be up in the majors as like a reliever, like Delmon Rangel, for example. We have Brian Morse, who's here, Kenny Olinger, Tim Soto. Like, a lot of these guys are pushing all at the same time. Carlos Murillo, he's 28 already, which is crazy. Fran Francisco, Fernando Cora, and then, like I was saying, Johnny Almont could get added to our 40-man if we really want to. Or we could let him sit in AAA for one more season, or part of one season. And we also have like Darren Poles all the way down here. So there's a lot of pitchers. I don't really know which one should be here and which one shouldn't. So please let me know. Relief pitcher-wise, we got Birch, Rubel, Tavares. And then closing pitcher-wise, we got Lake, Guzman, and Ken Robert. I technically didn't need to bring back Ken Robert, I feel like, at this rate. But at least we gave him one more year, and he will likely be going to the free agency next year. And then we definitely should be drafting probably some more closing pitchers at some point, because we definitely could use some more in the system. Catcher-wise, we have Sixto and Halpern. I'd likely think we move Brad Thornton over to first base, so that way he's like a first baseman behind Ozzie. So we have a little bit more depth at first base. And then likely Michael Chu will become our third baseman because of the fact Jeff Pipp has left the team. So there we go. I think he would be good, Michael Chu at third base. He doesn't have necessarily the best accuracy, but he's got good fielding, a good arm, and good reaction. So he should be able to make some plays at third base where he actually could play. And then Johannes Berg likely gets sent back down again to AAA, I'd say. Because I don't think he's really a major league caliber player. So there is a good chance I might let him go soon. Second baseman wise, we got Trevino, and then yeah, Schertner's in AAA still, but he is getting very close to being MLB ready, which is very exciting. I also do need your guys' feedback on who I should be giving upgrades to at the start of the season, because I feel like Schertner definitely could be up to a B potential based on how he played last year in Triple. And then third baseman wise, we picked up Bobby Swain in the role 5. You guys didn't see that because the friggin' Elgato. But Bobby Swain will be another third baseman for us. He's a very solid defensive third baseman. That's why I brought him in for more depth behind Chu. Just because if we run into injury troubles, obviously it's good to have another third baseman. Kobayashi is still in the system, but he's hopefully going to be developing rapidly quick from here on out. And yeah, we have some other prospects as well. Shortstop-wise, we got Pinheiro and McMahon, and we do have still Springer in the system, which hopefully he develops into being something. Left fielding-wise, we got Steiner. Center fielding-wise, we got Groves and Pineda, and right fielding-wise, we got Bill O'Donnell. So our outfield is starting to become a little bit weak. So I'm thinking what we definitely need to draft this upcoming year, third base for sure. Outfielders probably is a good option, and then also closing pitchers would be very good because of the fact Dennis Lake is only signed for 2 more seasons, I think, or so. And then also Guzman's only signed for a few more years too. And then we might be losing Robert this upcoming offseason. So I think definitely a closing pitcher is something we might want to look into. So there is all that. I'll show you guys actually also our depth chart at the moment. You can see this is what we're looking like potentially for like next season. But there is a lot of guys that are up for renewal. So those guys are all going to need to be signed. But I think our team should be pretty good this season still, because you can see we are still ranked as the #1 team, at least in spring training wise. We are still really good contact wise. Power wise is still solid. Pitching is still really good according to this. Defense is still not the best, and our speed is dropped off quite a bit because of the fact we lost Ollie Gellman, but it goes from like 3rd to 10th, but that is okay with me because it's still top 10, so that's not too bad. Also, we do have some, like I said, big contracts up for renewal. These are the guys that need contracts next offseason, so you can see why I needed to free up some cap space this offseason. But yeah, we have a lot of questions on who we should be actually bringing back, because a lot of these guys might end up leaving this team. But yeah, like guys like Gary Steiner, I think are guys that we need to bring back for sure. Obviously, Gomez, Osuna are the future of the bullpen, or the pitching rotation, I should say. I don't know about Pablo Silva. That's a bit of a weird one. And yeah, Bill O'Donnell probably should be here still for a little bit longer since we don't really have much outfielders, but we'll come to that when we actually get to that point. So there is that. Also, the top prospects in baseball at the moment. We have like 5 guys on this list. Howard Springer is at 5, which is awesome to see. Kobayashi at 11. Fontenette makes his debut at number 14. Very excited to see how Fontenette develops in Double and Triple A this season. Wherever he plays, it's probably Double A with the amount of pitchers we have. We also have Johnny Almont down at 29. Like I said, Johnny Almont could get added to our 40-man if we want to play him this year, but I honestly don't know if that's good for his growth or not. He would be used probably more as a relief pitcher or a number 5 starting pitcher. And then we also have Fletcher Sanchez down here at 43. So there is that, and I think that's almost it. I will look where Pip went because we didn't actually take a look at that, or I didn't take a look at that. So we will take a look at where Pip went, because I'll show you first Ollie Gellman just in case you guys didn't see much on him, because I don't know where the Elgato cut out. But first, Ollie Gellman signed with the Angels, which is crazy, and he's getting paid a lot of money, and it's a backloaded contract too. I didn't even realize that, but they're paying him only 12.8 this season, which is not bad. But by the time he's 35 years old, he's going to be making $21 million. So it's a bit of a bad contract, I think, but Ollie had a 280 last year, so he should be pretty good when he's making the least amount of money. But then he's going to be playing pretty bad when he's making the most, I think, too. So bit of a weird contract there for a team that's not even in the playoff hunt, but it is what it is. And yeah, Jeff Pipp did go to the Nationals, who we were thinking he was going to go to. He signed a 4-year deal, also backloaded, 6.7, and it goes all the way up to 10.1. So Jeff Pipp has joined the Nationals. Interesting. So he goes from Seattle, Washington, or not Seattle, Washington. He goes from us, which is close to Seattle, Washington, all the way to Washington, D.C. That's kind of funny. That is kind of funny. I do actually also want to take a look at how some of our former players were doing last season. So Schneider is one of them. How did Steve do last year in Seattle? And not very good. Not very good at all. At least he's only making 5.7, but damn. How about Gary McAllister? How has Gary been? I think Gary has been okay, but... And then we'll also take a look at Montero. Gary has been decent. Like, I mean, the ERA is much better than it was with us. The FIP is still a little bit but he's been okay at times. Has been able to win some games too. And then last but not least, let's take a look at where Montero is. I think he's still in Houston. Let's see. Yeah, he's still in Houston. And last year he was pretty good ERA-wise. Yeah, he was actually really good. That FIP number is fantastic. So William Montero came out of nowhere. Was actually pretty good for the Houston Astros. So anyways, guys, that's going to do it for this episode of our Vancouver Rain Draft to Glory franchise mode. So in next episode, we will take it to the start of the season. We'll simulate a decent chunk, obviously, up till the draft and see if we could get some pretty good results. Obviously, we want to have another good season and make it back to the ALCS at least in this coming season. But we also want to have a very good draft. So hopefully, we could scout out the right prospects. Like I said, closing pitchers, third base, and outfielders, I think, is my priority in this draft, depending on how good there is for players in that type of category. But hopefully we can find some good players And finally, also let me know about who you think we should be sending down to AAA for another season and who we should be using in our roster. Send anything down below, and I'll see you guys next time.